Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'm doing a review for Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind. This is a new animated film in line with the previous animated films that we've seen from the Mortal Kombat universe. I really like this Mortal Kombat Legends, I guess we'll call it series of movies. We are, as we celebrate 30 years of Mortal Kombat this weekend, we did get an announcement before I get into the movie review that we will have Joe McHale reprising his role of Johnny Cage in the next movie, Mortal Kombat Legends Cage Match, which should arrive in 2023. But let's get back to Snowblind. So this movie is rated R with a runtime of an hour and 22 minutes. And here's the quick synopsis. I will be very spoiler free. Really, I don't need to get into spoilers to talk exactly how I feel about the movie. So, as Kano and the Black Dragon wreak havoc around the globe, a young warrior named Kenshi will have to rise above his own limitations and take on the looming threat of Outworld. This movie was directed by Rick Morales, written by Jeremy Adams, based on characters by Ed Boon and John Tobias. So yeah, oh man. So I recently finished the movie because it just came out digitally, so I've been waiting for that. Um, I will say overall, the movie it's kind of like two pieces for me. The beginning of the movie, it's interesting because it gives you a new interesting setting, right? It doesn't follow along with what we had seen coming from the other from some of the other films. It doesn't feel like it fits right into the trilogy, right? But I think although it doesn't pick up exactly where we left off in Battle of the Realms, uh, I think it still has a lot that it's very interesting. I like the whole wasteland aspect of it, post-apocalyptic. Um, I really like that part of the story. Unfortunately, the beginning of the story, it's a little bit slow. It's a little bit messy and convoluted, trying to put everything together. So about the first half of this movie, I was not into it at all. But I soldiered on because I wanted to do a review, and I wanted to make sure. And when I say soldiered on, it's not like it was a slog. It was not as exciting as I wanted it to be. I think the first two movies have something else that really bring that. But this movie got to a point about halfway through it where it just clicked, and I kind of saw the bigger picture, if you would. Um, and then it got really good. Obviously, it also has a lot to do with like there's a lot more fighting, there's a lot more violence. This movie is super violent. If you've seen some of the other movies, like this one definitely also kicks it up a notch. And they do some. It's a little bit distinct in the animation. First of all, and it I like the animation more here than some of the other movies because there was this one thing that if you see my other reviews, I complain about the characters. They have like these lines, these very thick black heavy lines, specifically like around the knuckles and any time anywhere they're trying to show like the body's kind of folding. And there's a little bit of shadow. They use these really thick lines, which was not a stylistic choice that I enjoyed. This movie does away with that, so I praise it for that. I really enjoyed that part of it. So yeah, so the animation I think feels like it improved. There's also very cool stylistic choices. As you guys know, Kenshi is a blind warrior, and they do this thing where he can where they visualize how he can sense his opponents around them. I think that's done in a very cool fashion. So yeah, so let's get into a little bit of the cast. So we have Manny Jacinto voicing Kenshi Kahashi. Um, Really good. I liked him a lot. I sometimes I complain that voice actors don't change their voice enough to make it unique. And Manny Jacinto, like he's been in, you might recognize him from The Good Place. Um, so like I knew his voice sounded familiar, but I didn't know exactly who it was. It was kind of the same thing that I talked about in my reaction for the Mario Brothers trailer, right? I can tell it's Jack Black, but Jack Black changes his voice enough for Bowser, whereas I don't feel like Chris Pratt changes his voice enough to be like for me to believe that that's not Chris Pratt. So we also have David Wenham as Kano. The only other thing I remember him in from off the top of my head is Power Fist, or sorry, Iron Fist from Netflix. He was one of the villains in season one. I like him. I like his performance. He doesn't put on the Australian as thick as I would think some of the other Kano voice actors have. We also have Ron Yuan as Kuai Lang, aka Sub Zero. We also have a few other characters that I'll just name and name. I don't want to get too deep into them. We do have Art Butler as Shang Tsung. We have Cabal, Kira, Cobra, Tremor. I'll leave some people out. We also have Jarek, and there's a few other characters that you may recognize from the games. But I don't want to get too deep into that to avoid any spoilers. There's definitely one character I won't name at all. So yeah. Um, so like I was saying, the first half of the movie, it's a little bit harder to get through. Maybe it just hadn't connected with me. I don't know. It was a weird thing where I was like, I am not having such a good time. But there was enough good things that kept me going. But like I said, once that movie clicks and you see the turn, and I think hopefully you guys can feel that, or maybe you'll feel differently, but you feel the turn, and I really enjoyed the second half of the movie. The pacing picks up, the action picks up. There's this even the story like starts coming together in such a cool way where you're like, okay, this is all part of like the same bigger story that we've been telling with these animated movies. So I'm very excited. The character designs look really cool. Like I just love the post-apocalyptic look, like steampunk, like post-apocalyptic. Like all the characters have these really cool like accessories and stuff. I don't know why Kano's not in the poster for the movie, which is really weird since he is really a big driving force behind this movie. I know Shang Tsung is probably a more recognizable character, but yeah, I think this is just a really fun. If you're a Mortal Kombat enthusiast, I'm sure you'll be watching this. I'm gonna put I'm gonna put a link to my buddy's podcast down in the comments. MK Podquest. I'm sure they'll be talking about this movie soon as well. They'll get into a lot more details. They're very knowledgeable, like about the characters and the lore. I'm just kind of a surface level Mortal Kombat fan, but I enjoy these movies, and I know enough about the games to be excited about all the things that kind of keep popping up as Easter eggs and just like little things that they're taking from the larger story of Mortal Kombat. The lore is so rich. Also, if you haven't, go check out Immortal Podcast with Ben Meckler and a guest because that's also very cool. So I'll put links for both of those podcasts in the description. And yeah, let me know. Let me know what you guys think of the movie. I'm so excited that we're getting more stuff. I wish we had gotten a little bit more of announcements for the 30th anniversary. We did get a cool trailer and some other stuff, but I'm glad they're making more animated movies. I think Mortal Kombat thrives in an animated medium because it finds a good balance of like they can do all the cool stuff from the games and then they can ramp up the violence, but they don't have to worry about translating that to a live action medium. So as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned because we have more movie reviews, comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here on the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.